Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and Level by Level, where in this playlist we are going over the various discipline powers of Animalism. Animalism is the domain discipline of the Gangrel, the Nosferatu, and the Tzimisce, and anyone else who has the proper predator type. However, it does seem to be a discipline that does go ignored for the most part when you're talking about the higher socialite vampires. You don't find many Toreador with this power. You don't find many Ventrue with this power. But the benefits of this discipline are so above and beyond that they do tend to become, as I said, ignored. Tonight we're going to be focusing on the level 1 power of Bond Famulus. Now, the book states, when blood bonding an animal, the vampire can make it a famulus, forming a mental link with it and facilitating the use of other animalism powers. While this power alone does not allow two-way communication with the animal, it can follow simple verbal instructions, such as stay and come here. It attacks in defense of itself and its master, but cannot otherwise be persuaded to fight something it would not normally attack. So, you have a blood-bounded animal who follows your simple commands that you do have a mental link with. You do have a higher understanding of this, but it will not put itself in what it would perceive as a dangerous situation. So let us just say that you have a Rottweiler as a famulus, and you're walking down the road and decide that that human does not need to be walking any longer. You can easily tell this dog to go attack it, because that is something that it is not going to feel threatened by. It will follow that instruction. However, if you run across another kindred and you decide that this animal is going to attack, without higher levels of being able to persuade this animal, it is going to sense the beast of that vampire, and unless it attacks you first, it will not attack it. Your familius will look at you as if you are insane. And I think that is something that a lot of people don't understand. They believe that if they have anything and they tell it to do something, that it is just going to outright go out and do it. But the animal does still have its reasoning skills, and its instincts are going to be something that it listens to before it listens to you. The dice pool for Bond Famulus is charisma plus animal ken, because you are relating to your famulus on this one. You're communicating in a civil manner. You're trying to reach your beast to their beast as if they were equals. The cost for Bond Famulus is the animal must be fed the user's blood on 3 separate nights, each of which requires a rouse check by the user. The amount of blood needed to sustain a ghoul state of the animal after this is negligible. Players starting with this power have completed this process and can have a famulus for free. So in other words, as you are creating this animal, it is going to take a full rouse check's worth of blood. Now, in my opinion, that is a good amount of blood. Now, considering the fact that most vampires have 5 rouse checks worth of blood in them, as long as their blood doesn't go beyond the notice of the beast, they should be fine. But if you have to do 3 separate nights, 3 separate rouse checks, there's a good chance you might actually have to feed again after that. But after that, anything else is just here's a little here and there. And being able to keep them up to date, it doesn't even have to go within notice. Most animals don't need that much blood to stay ghouled after they have already become ghouled. The system states, without the use of feral whispers below, giving command to the animal requires a charisma plus animal ken roll at a difficulty of 2. Increased difficulty for more complex orders. A vampire can only have 1 famulus, but can get a new one if the current one dies. A vampire can use feral whispers, Animalism 2, and Sussum the Spirit, Animalism 4, on their famulus for free. So there is no need to pay the cost of feral whispers, which is typically a rouse check per type of chosen animal that you are using that discipline on. And subsume the spirit later on, which again costs 1 rouse check, is not something that you are really going to have to worry about if this animal is already bound to you. And I believe personally that the reason is more of a chemical reason than anything else, because their body already is harboring your blood. And since the blood calls to blood, you are able to put your consciousness or your thoughts into that animal without the need for further rouse checks. Duration. Only death releases a Famulus once bound. As long as it receives vampire blood on a regular basis, the Famulus does not age. So, even if you decide that you are not going to feed the blood anymore, it will continue to stay your Famulus. It will still have a small amount of your vitae, even if it's not keeping the animal alive any longer, even if it's not keeping them young anymore. And the regular upkeep that you would have to do after that is simply the physical upkeep of the animal. So I think this is such an interesting inclusion into animalism, because you always saw animal ghouls, and the process for creating an animal ghoul was the exact same thing as creating a human ghoul, making sure that you fed them your blood and the like. But this is not just creating a ghoul. This is creating a fully blood-bound ghoul that reacts to you as if you are an equal. They will follow your orders at the end of a challenge, where most ghouls would just follow simple. I believe that this is more on a primal basis for the beast meeting the beast and finding that mutual respect in it. This is also the kind of thing that, since we are talking about animals that are imbibing your blood, this is going to end up being an animal that is more likely a hunter or a scavenger, a wolf, a dog, a cat, various types of birds of prey, bats, things like that. These are all animals that consume life to live, are going to be the main focus of Bond Famulus. So this is a relatively straightforward discipline where the rules for bonding an animal to you and creating a loyal servant and a companion is more prominent. I could see a Bond Famulus mixed with some type of presence combo discipline where you could actually create a ghouled human like this with a little bit of practice. But again, that would be a homebrew mechanic amalgam or something like that. I am Voivode Maquette, and as always, I am asking you for your experiences using Bond Famulus in your games, as storytellers or as player characters. In my game, so far, we haven't had many people use this discipline. In Thicker Than Water, we do have Sam, or Tommy, as he's now known, who does have a white rat, which he did pick up along the way some time ago, but he has not really been able to use it to its fullest potential. And I do look forward to seeing what he does plan on doing with that, because I've really never seen his player use animalism before. So this is level by level, and we are going through animalism, and we have just looked at the discipline Bond Famulus. Class dismissed.